Okay, good evening, everybody. Audio check. 1 2 1 2. Looks like we got decent audio. Go over here to the monitor and double check that. Okay, good evening. All right, sounds good. So, hello, everybody. I hope everybody had a great week. I did. I've been awfully busy getting this house ready to sell and taking care of my dad's estate and affairs, and I think we're finally getting ahead of that. 2 hours on hold to get in touch with the Railroad Retirement Board, which is Social Security on steroids. It's a special one set up for railroaders. Anyway, listening to the same basically 2-minute music loop, so no audio. I don't understand that. Should be audio. Anyway, I got audio on this end, Tom. You might have your something muted on your end. Let's see. I'll put a comment in here since you can't hear. Alrighty. So, I got a series of questions from a regular viewer named Sharon that we're going to address tonight. Quite a few, actually. And I think it'll make some good content. She sent some photos. We'll go through a few photos here in just a bit. And we'll chat about some of her issues. I don't know if she'll be able to make it. Normally, I would have replied via email, but just too many demands on my time right now to be able to respond personally. Excuse me. But I think we'll be able to make the best of it. Let's go over in the chat and see who's here. Michael Zent. Hi, Michael. So nice to have you in tonight, as well as Scotty. Great to have you back, Scotty. Hope everything is going well for you. I did post, for those that are interested, a link to the obituary in the chat window for my dad. Gary D's in from Sun City. He's bragging it's mid-80s and light wind, and all of us in the Midwest here and South are in for a cold snap. Currently it's 40 degrees outside here in Arkansas, northwest Arkansas, up in the Ozarks, and we're expecting 22 overnight. And I think the overnight low at home, well, currently it's 71 beautiful degrees, and they're looking like it's going to be about 46 tonight. So yeah, it is what it is, right? Gary D says, "Burr, plug in the block heaters." Yeah, for sure. Scotty is out in Bremerton, where he says it's 62. Continued dry. It's been very dry here. We did have a good thunderstorm roll through last Friday night and put down, looked like maybe half an inch. So it helped a little bit. But yeah, it is extremely dry. There's a bit of a drought going on up here in the Ozarks right now. Tom Downey checking in. Hope you got your audio working, Tom. And Vincent, RV Life. Bruce is out there. Thanks. Glad to have you here from the chilly Emerald Coast of Florida. George, a.k.a. Dad's, checking in from Guntersville, Alabama, where it's going to be 35 last night and headed for a hard freeze tonight. He says it'll beat the record set in 48. You know, a good thing about a hard freeze is it kills the dang flies. Tim Myers checking in. Tim, I finally get you set up as a moderator. You commented on last Sunday's video, and I was able to track down your channel ID, and we got her going. So you're set up as a moderator now, Tim. George is saying he's got his reflectix up in the windshield. I don't blame you. That's cold. Scotty, I think it's better. Okay, and we're going to skip that. Hey, Donald Hill is in, the Grim Reaper. Yeah, that's pretty funny, Donald. Gary's asking if you are wondering about upgrading your Dexter trailer, call them with your information and ask. I did and found out good information about my rig. Cool. Okay, yeah, Tom's got figured that out. Everybody's saying everything's good. Turn the speaker on. That always helps, Tom. Oh, Eric Myers from Mena, Arkansas. Eric, you're not that far away, dude. We ought to maybe, let's see here. Let me check that. Let me get it on a map. I think you're pretty close. If you are, we ought to try to say connect and maybe have coffee. Just a minute here. Oh, wait a minute. You're down south. That Mina's down south. South of Fort Smith. That's not far from here, though. It's probably, oh, maybe 90 miles, but that's like 5 hours on the damn crooked roads out here. But yeah, Eric, if you're headed any further east, holler. I'm up around Berryville, Arkansas, is where I'm at. So I'm north of you. Oh, probably maybe 70 miles, 80 miles north of you. But great to have you in tonight, by the way. So awesome. Thank you, George. Kevin Coop, I finally remembered the right time. North of St. Louis expected 25. Yeah, Kevin, Missouri and Arkansas looking really cold. Tim is out in Elkhart getting some work done on his rig, and he says it's been cold there. Oh, Scotty says he's thanking me for the well wishes. His mom was in the hospital with COVID. Wow. She's back home on her own. One tough lady. Yeah, that's cool. Arlen, Paula. There's a new name. We're so happy to see you here. Hi, currently in Sebawang, Michigan. Cold and breezy, all 4 slides in, gust 40 mile per hour. And Vincent saying he did get to fire up his new Vornado electric heater. Thanks for the recommendation. Yeah, those are good ones. I'll tell you what. They just flat out work, you know. I mean, for a $60 heater, they work really well. Let's see here. Tom, good news. Tom's got all his motorhome discrepancies worked off. She's working great. That's good to hear. Oh, Eric says he's headed to Fort Smith and then turning left to the warm west. I don't blame you, Eric. I hope to be out of here with any luck next Tuesday. All right. So we kind of worked through the comments, so I want to run over here and we're going to talk about some emails I got from Sharon. She is out in Oregon, and the first thing I'm going to start with, let me come over here real quick and do a screen share. I didn't bring my little fancy clicker box, so let me clear this off. And clear this off, and then we'll come over here to, let's see, let's start there. Okay, that's where we want to start. I'll just double check here real quick. Okay, it looks like we're there. So what you're looking at there is the front of her travel trailer, and she's needing some assistance connecting the trailer to her truck. And I had asked her some questions and asked for some photos, and she sent me this one because one of the questions I asked if she had electric trailer brakes, and she does. What you're seeing there, Sharon, is that is the cable for your breakaway. And if you look in here, I think you guys can probably see my mouse. Right there is a little switch, and what happens is if the trailer disconnects from the tow rig, that cable will pop a little switch out, which will set your electric brakes. Okay. What's concerning to me is this additional wire right here. Okay. It's hard to trace. It kind of disappears down here, and so I'm kind of wondering what that might be for. And the trailer brakes will be powered off of the RV batteries. Okay. So if you are going to tow, you will need your RV batteries connected. So the trailer brakes will work on the breakaway. Now, that brings me over to another photo she sent. Not that one, not that one. There we go. Is connecting her trailer to her pickup. What you're seeing there, Sharon, is that's called a 4-way flat. And that is the connection for the trailer, okay? And what that is your turn signals, your stop brake lights, and your marker lights, okay? So typically, and it's hard to trace this up to see how it's wired, but if it's wired correctly, the green will be your right turn signal, The yellow will be your left turn signal and the stop signals. And then the black, or brown as it is probably your marker lights and your brake lights. The white is the ground, okay? To connect that to your trailer, from the looks of it, it looks to me like your trailer, I'm looking down in this corner right here, that appears to be a 7-pin connector. You can buy adapters to go from 7-pin to 4-pin flat. In fact, I just ordered one myself from Amazon because I'm going to get a tow dolly to tow a vehicle back with me to Idaho. And so you can get one of those 7 to 4 adapters, okay? And that's how you would adapt from that plug to, and I believe, let's see here, well, I won't show that because that might have personal information on it that I don't want revealed. But they're really inexpensive. They were $8, $9 on Amazon. Okay, or you can get one locally. Usually, any of your, RV supply stores should have them, of course, and or oftentimes like hardware stores. Sometimes you can find them at Walmart, depending upon how big your Walmart is. But they should be readily available in your area, and that will allow you to get your turn signals, your marker lights, and your stop lights, brake lights working, okay, provided everything is wired correctly. The caveat is you will not have trailer brakes, which will be fine because what she's needing to do is just move it down so she can kind of dump the holding tanks, right? She's got to get them soaked and do that, so she needs to be able to move it down to a dump station. And so you won't have your brakes, your trailer brakes. That will be fine. You would have to install something called a trailer brake controller in the pickup and wire that back to the back, and then you would change from the 4-pin flat to a 5 or 6-pin. Probably I would just go with a 7-pin if there are 7 pins in this plug, okay, that I'm circling here with my mouse. Alrighty, so let me flop back over here real quick and just go over here to make sure now. Just to catch up with everybody, are you seeing the mouse move and everything is looking good, right? You can kind of see what's going on there. It looks like it is, yeah, okay. So I'll come back here. Unfortunately, I don't have my dual monitor set up, so I have to kind of flip back and forth manually and do some widgeting around here. Actually, you're seeing my end of the live stream there. Alright, so that should get you going on your trailer brakes. I had asked her to send me this wire right here. Your trailer brakes are electric, and this is just a wire that controls the trailer brakes there, okay? So no biggie there. We've talked about that. All right, that just showing the ball. That's pretty standard. This obviously is the fuse panel in the truck. She was mentioning that she was having some trouble with that. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to help you with that troubleshooting. That's something that would have to be there on site to do, and frankly, that's just not in the cards. Not for the foreseeable future, and we'll talk more about future schedules in a minute. All right. Oh, I did want to say something. Talk about this image. This is one of the holding tanks. I'm not sure which one, but this is the level wiring that tells you your level. And these little widgets here, this is a ground, and then this is level. This would be 1/3, 2/3, and full. All right. So those wires are just to the tank level, and it's hard to tell which tank that is. Okay. But that's all those wires are, not to be concerned about that. Then she was talking about she's had a bit of a roof leak. It doesn't look too bad inside, but something glaring that stands out to me is you're missing a gasket. There should be a gasket, a wiper gasket, similar to this black one you see here. There should be one across this here. Now, it might be outside where we can't see it, but that is, there should be a gasket right there, okay, over the top of that slide. All right, so that would be the end of her photos. Then she asked about her roof and sealing up her roof. Apparently it's leaked and it's been patched. And she was asking about, which of the silicone treatments she should use, and about a Turnabond tape. So what I would recommend that you do is that you go around with a Turnabond or the cheap knockoffs that they have on Amazon, I mean, the Turnabon is hella expensive. There are other types of that tape available on Amazon. I'm sure they're going to be fine. Let's talk frankly for just a minute. You have a really old travel trailer here. You're doing a temporary patch on the roof. Anything I'm going to tell you is only going to be temporary. At some point, if you really want to do it right, you're going to have to replace the roof, the entire roof, including the sheathing probably, from the sounds of it. Although she says she can get up there and walk around and it's not too crunchy. But what I'm telling you are all temporary, okay? The other thing to keep in mind is you have a really old travel trailer. And so you're going to want to balance the amount of money you put into it into what your expected use of it is. If you're going to live in it full time, well, then maybe you want to put a few more dollars into it. If it's something you're just going to travel in occasionally, you want to seriously consider how much money you're going to invest into it. Linda, Camp Goer 1, who usually checks in on the live stream at night, and I'll just flip over here to the screen there. She has a Toyota, and that she has asked numerous questions about on the live stream, and she was saying that she needed to sell it, and my recommendation to her is just to sell it. Don't try to fix the roof. Sell it as a fixer-upper. Sell it as known to have a leak. The reason I say that is because the money you might invest fixing that roof, you would probably not recoup in the value you could get by selling it as a fixer-upper versus one where you had fixed the roof already. So if you need the money, whatever your situation is, I don't know all of that details there, but I would just recommend that if you need to sell it, just sell it as a fixer-upper. Don't try to worry about fixing it perfect. You don't have the time or resources or whatever the situation might be. I'm not sure what it is, but just sell it out, okay? I mean, I know that we all want to fix everything up nice and neat and pretty, and that's kind of why I've been here for the last 3 weeks getting this house painted and stuff. I think it's a different situation in the case of a house. But in the case of your RV and the situation you're in, I would just go ahead and sell it out as a fixer-upper and not worry about fixing it. Okay, that's my advice. Sharon, the reason I kind of digressed over to talk about Linda, Camp Goer 1's issue, was you're kind of in the same situation. If you're going to use it to live in full-time, then it might be worth investing some money in getting the roof replaced properly. Okay? In the interim, from the sounds of it, you probably just need to seal up all the seams, and the Eternabond tape or the Amazon knockoffs would probably work just fine. I wouldn't worry about the quality per se. What I will tell you is that you want the areas that you're going to use the Eternabond tape on to be clean, okay? So just get up there, scrub them down with good soap and water, let them dry off, and you should be good to go from there. So I would put Eternabond tape on every seam, okay? And then around all of the vent penetrations, your exhaust vents, sewer vents, any other penetrations through the roof, I would use Dicor lap sealant, and I would go around and I would seal the flange and the perimeter, and they should already be sealed. So put enough on there to overseal all of the existing seals for the penetrations through the roof. Okay, that should get you watertight, sort of, and then go with either Henry's Tropicool or Henry's Bright Tech. Okay, the Tropicool is a bit more expensive. The Bright Tech is a little less expensive. Tom Downey had really good success using what's the stuff the guy sells on TV? Help me out, Tom. What's that rubber stuff that they sell on TV? Come on. What is? Help me out. Flex Seal. Yeah. And I know you can get that stuff, I don't know if you can get that in a gallon can or not. But you're probably going to need a couple gallons. Again, just make sure the roof is nice and clean and dry. And then roll it on with a paint roller. And that should get you to where you're fairly sealed up. Yeah, thanks, Kevin. Got it, finally. Flex Seal. I know there's a little latency out there. There's a lot of latency up here tonight. And just coat it up real good with I would go with Henry's Bright Tech. That's usually available at like Home Depot, so you don't need to order that online, if you don't need to. I think you're a little bit remote though, and the Flex Seal would probably be just fine, particularly where you're with the situation you're in. And Tom swears by it, and he's an old gray-haired guy like me that has no need to lie. So we just want to try to help people out. So that's what I can tell you now about that. Let me just do a real quick scan here, make sure I didn't miss any of the high points. Okay, yeah. Okay, so I guess that's probably what I can tell you, Sharon, given my current workload, and I hope that helps. That's so much easier than me trying to type all that out. Of course, I'm always open to questions submitted via email. If you're shy and you don't want to talk in the chat, feel free to email me, trbolin, BOWLIN, @gmail.com. I'm happy to try to answer your questions. You'll have to give me a little leeway on responding. I am a bit busy. I will not, by the way, we were going to chat a bit about schedules. I will not be live next Tuesday night. I hope to be on the road and probably in a hotel in Colorado by this time next week. Keeping them fingers crossed. Okay? And then the following week we'll be back with the live. There will be a truck camper renovation restoration video Sunday. Get most of the roof put back on, and then I start working on the bathroom stall and that sort of stuff, and that will be coming in the following video, which, if everything works out right, will still be on schedule for 2 weeks from Sunday. So this coming Sunday will be finishing up most of the roof, and then I have to work on the bathroom stall and get it ready for the roof, and then we'll finish up the roof in that video, and then we move on to doing some restoration on the pedestal, and then also working on the then I start on the electrical, which I really electrical is probably one of my favorite things. And so I'm looking forward to doing that. And thank you so much, Two Feathers. I'm so happy to help you. And that reminds me, my dad was very involved in the community here. He was in Rotary for many years, nearly 25, I think, or so. And he also supported an organization called Loaves and Fishes, Food Bank of the Ozarks. And so what I'm doing is that everything that I make on YouTube, super chats, like I just got from Two Feathers, so kind, and all of my revenue that will be coming from YouTube this month will all be rolled up, and I will be donating that in his name to Loaves and Fishes, Food Bank of the Ozarks. So thank you so much for your support, and I'll take advantage of that and help the folks here in Northwest Arkansas with a few meals. So thanks again, and thank you so much, Two Feathers. Tom Downey says Flex Seal is 110 per gallon. That's pretty dang expensive. So I'm gonna go back to saying the Henry's Bright Tech. I think Henry's Bright Tech at Home Depot runs about $60 a gallon, and for the situation you're in, Sharon, I think that Bright Tech will be just fine for you. It's a good silicone roof coating, and it should work out just fine. Let me run back over here and catch up on the chat. G. Keith, he says, I'm new to the RV world. Bought my first fifth wheel last year. It's my full-time home. I live in southwest Oklahoma. Oh, excellent, G. Yeah, that's cool. If you have any questions, or you just have something you want to know about your rig, be sure and just drop us a comment. We're so happy to help you out. We got a lot of experience here. Tom and myself and Eric and Tim. We're all old-time RVers, been doing it for many years, and so we try to help out the new folks, and so you're always welcome to ask questions. That's a good question, Tim. Tim was asking, and he might have picked something up off of Sharon's photos that I missed. And unfortunately, I believe I closed that photo, Tim. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to pop those back up real fast. Let me see if I can just real quick find that. I don't think it's that email. Sorry, I closed a... No, that wasn't it. Let's see, there we go. That's a good question, Tim. I'm going to run and check that real quick. I believe it is a 28-foot. Don't quote me on that. Hold on, we'll get there eventually. She sent a number of pictures. I'm trying to sort through and find the ones of the rear. We're getting close. I guess I probably should have just left them all open, huh? Sorry about the delay, folks. I'm sure this is really compelling content that I'm generating right now. Me looking at the screen, clicking, trying to find a photo. This is really yeah. Well done, TR. Thank you. All right, we're getting closer finally. Okay, so here is the photo. Let me flip over here that Tim was talking about, and yeah, it does look to be bolted to the bumper, and good eye, Tim. It appears that Sharon, that is probably a class maybe 3 hitch, and may not be big enough to pull your travel trailer. But Tim, that is a good catch. I see a bolt there, and you can see just the head of it peeking out around the trailer ball right there. We don't see what's going on underneath, but yeah, Tim, that is a great catch and a good eye. That's why I love having the community here that can pick up on stuff like that. I will email Sharon and let her know that could be a huge issue. All right, let's see, rolling back. Okay, Wandering RN, hello. So welcome, so glad to have you here. She says, I have a question. I filled my freshwater tank for the first time 3 weeks ago just to see if the pump worked. It's new. I never refilled. Do I have to sterilize it now to use it? And I saw Tim respond, it depends on how long it was last sanitized. Wandering RN, I would recommend that you just go ahead and sanitize it. It's not difficult. It's really easy to do. I have a video on my channel, and I will go. I will grab that for you real quick here as soon as things catch up here. By the way, is the quality of the stream good tonight? It seems like it has been. I haven't seen any real. I'm pushing my internet connection pretty hard. It says we have an excellent connection. So, yeah. Okay, here we go. It only takes a few minutes, Wandering RN, to sanitize. And I would just recommend that you do it. I just posted a link to the video on my channel that will walk you through how to do that sanitization on your freshwater holding tank. Hush up. Stop your barking. That's all we need is more compelling content, dog barking in the background. Okay, so yeah, I would go ahead and do it, Wandering RN. It's easy to do. And yeah, if you have any questions at all, I would just go ahead and do it. It's really easy to do. And that will just remove any doubt in your mind about that. Gary D, battery heaters, any thoughts? All right, yeah, I got a couple. If you have lithium batteries and you plan on using them in below 20-degree weather, they are required. Any other case, lead acid batteries, unless you're in very cold temperatures, say we're talking 10 or under, then I wouldn't waste my money on battery heaters. Unless you plan on, I mean, there's always caveats, differences in the situation, but only in cold temperatures, and typically only on lithium if you're using them and needing to charge them under 20 degrees Fahrenheit, then a battery blanket or battery heater is a good idea. Let's see. George says he has a funny story. They had dinner at the lodge at the state park Friday night, ran into a convention of the Red Hat ladies. Red hats, feathers, and sequins filled the room. Yeah, I have a friend whose mom is a Red Hat lady. Hush up. Excuse me for just a minute. Sorry about that. We've had all kinds of company, and that's usually when the burglar alarm goes off. There's somebody coming to the door, but there wasn't anybody here. But yeah, we've had a ton of company, as I'm sure you can understand. Okay, let's see. Okay, Sharon. If you are sticking with the chat, Tom Downey is in Washington. I believe she's in Oregon, Tom. And I'm not sure what city. I'll take this up offline. I will ping her and let her know that you might be able to help. Eric Myers, when in doubt, sanitize. Good point. Wandering RN, how long do I need to leave the bleach water in there? Well, a couple hours. Overnight's better, but just a couple hours is all you need to do. And then you'll want to flush it one more time. If you follow the instructions in the video, that'll get you a concentration to sanitize. Note, and as an RN, you probably know this, there is a difference between sanitizing and sterilizing. We don't need to sterilize the holding tank. The problem with adding too much bleach is the bleach smell will stay in the tank, and it will eventually, dissipate. But there's no sense in, doing overkill on the bleach. The concentration. I believe it's a quarter cup for every 16 gallons of capacity, and that will get you to about 100 ppm of chlorine concentrated, bleach, which will do a good job of just sanitize. So yeah, a couple hours is more than enough. You should be good to go. All right, let me just swing back here into the chat, make sure I don't sometimes... Oh, Scotty, thank you so much. That's very kind of you to leave that super chat in my dad's memory. We do appreciate that. The family does appreciate it. Oh, it looks like another one popped in. I didn't see it. Oh, Bruce, Vincent RV Life, thanks you guys too very much. It's so kind of you folks to donate to this very worthy cause that that I am going to be supporting this month. Okay, let's see. Alrighty, got you there. Gary D, battery heater, drop light, and okay, we'll skip that. Kevin Coop, regarding tank sterilizing, I saw the video the other day about hydrogen peroxide in very nasty water. was shown under microscope, I started searching and found out that 1 mil per gallon in the tank. Hydrogen peroxide can be pretty effective, but 1 mil per gallon, what was the concentration of that? I mean, keep in mind that the hydrogen peroxide you get from the store, okay, from the pharmacy or from the Walmart or whatever, is 3%, okay? That's really already very dilute, and that's not going to give you enough of a concentration in the holding tank to sterilize it. That's why we always recommend chlorine. Now, you can go to a health food store and you can get 35% hydrogen peroxide, okay? That stuff is, you want to be really careful working with that, because even a drop of that, 35% on your skin, will burn you severely, okay? So hydrogen peroxide would work very well, and if you could get the 35% concentration type like you would get from a health food store, which is readily available, in fact I have a story about using that to clean an RV, then it would probably work really well. It's not usually readily available unless you're near and not every health food store has it. It needs to be refrigerated. It's very volatile, and so I wouldn't recommend it to sterilize. It would work, absolutely. And if you were good at the chemistry and you could figure out how to get the right concentration based on the dilution rate of the peroxide you were using and all of that sort of stuff, it would work perfectly, absolutely. But the old chlorine bleach is a known, it's a known quantity. Bingo, bango, bongo, you're done. Everybody can get chlorine bleach of the right concentration. And again, remember, we are sanitizing, not sterilizing. The difference is, to sterilize, you have to use a much higher concentration of whatever the disinfectant is you're using, whether it be chlorine bleach or hydrogen peroxide or anything else. Well, I was going to tell a quick side story about peroxide. When I first got Rusty, my 2004 Newmar Dutch Star, it was filthy. In fact, that's one of the ways that I got the price beat way down on it and got it for a really good deal. When I got it home and started cleaning on it, I had cleaned out the cabinets and they stunk horribly. I couldn't get the smell out. I finally ended up having to take the bottoms of the cabinets out, and what had happened was that food had spilled, had run over the sides, and was in the bottom of the cabinets. It was nasty. I didn't want to have to rebuild the cabinets. I tried everything. I tried bleach, ammonia. I couldn't get the smell out. I got the stains off and the food residue off the wood, but that smell had just sunk into the wood. So what did I use? 35% hydrogen peroxide. I went to my local health food store. I got a bottle of that. You want to make really sure you're wearing rubber gloves, eye protection, because it will burn. And I took that and put it in a little bowl, got a disposable paintbrush, painted that surface that had the food on it, and it took 2 treatments, but after 2 treatments of that, the odor was gone. And I literally tried everything. I tried Odoban, I tried chlorine bleach, ammonia, a rain dance. I tried everything to get the smell out. It wouldn't come out. But that 35% hydrogen peroxide took it out. And not to get too technical, but it has to do with something called redox, reduction oxidation. And what it was is that when you put hydrogen peroxide on organic compounds, it decomposes the bonds in it, it oxidizes it, and that's why it's really dangerous when you get it on your skin, because it instantly starts to oxidize your skin and it will burn you. So yeah, it's to be used with extreme caution, but it is very effective at killing odors. And bleaching hair, by the way. Good quality. Thanks everybody for the feedback. Scotty, my 5th wheel is over 10 years old and never had any of the tanks sanitized or cleaned. Scotty, it's time to buckle down, man. It's so easy to do. I'm just teasing you. Yeah, it is really easy to do. Check out the video that I posted the link above. It, like I say, it's just super easy. You don't even, it's no biggie, right? I mean, And the black and gray tanks, follow my BioGeo method video recommendations. You'll never have trouble with those. Oh, Robert Black, thank you so much for the super chat tonight. Wow, I've been busy answering questions. I didn't see that come in. That's very kind of you. Thank you so much, Robert. And Kevin says the time for the peroxide is 1 hour. Yeah, that sounds about right. Wondering RN, how hard is it to drop the underbelly? I also have a broken black tank cable. I bought a new cable, but it can't be accessed from the storage area I tried. It's not difficult, Wondering RN. There's probably going to be a Phillips screw or maybe a hex head screw. And they just unscrew it, drop it down. It'll give you access to everything in the underbelly. You should be able to get in there and replace the cable and do all that. You can do it. It's not hard. Get your swear jar out, and when you fill it up, get yourself something nice. Now, it's not hard to drop the underbelly at all. Sometimes dropping it's easy. Sometimes getting it back up, if you have an extra set of hands, is really helpful. But you can do it yourself. But yeah, if you have an extra set of hands to put it back up, that's really helpful. And then, of course, you shouldn't have to drop the whole underbelly. It should be seamed in certain places. So and the section underneath the holding tanks is probably the only section you need to drop. You don't need to drop any of the other sections. So hopefully that helps you out. Oh, I forgot to do the cheap plug commercial tonight. It's already 7:45. Wow, time's flying. If you like the channel, please give me that thumbs up. Those are always helpful to get the video ranked up. If you'd like to support the channel in other ways, visit to my Amazon store through the link in the video description. Then you can depart from there and go to anywhere on Amazon, make your purchase. I'll get a small commission. You'll pay the same price. There's also a couple of other affiliate links in there, one for RecPro. They're a really high quality RV parts supplier. And then, of course, Renogy, first-class solar company that provides solar off-grid solutions. And there are some discount codes there. And your support, again, is greatly appreciated. A quick trip over to my website at trbullen.com, also a link in the video description. Poke around over there. There's actually a couple of written articles about sanitizing your freshwater holding tank, other handy RV how-to articles, and some other stuff. A lot of my photography and stuff like that. If you'd like to check some of that out, it's over on my website at trbullen.com. End of commercial. Back to questions. That's pretty funny. You're welcome, Gary. Wandering RN. Note to self, don't drink the water at Scotty's. Scotty says, who drinks water anyway? The good thing we use bottled water. That's pretty funny. Wandering RN says, dummy me drinks the water. Honestly, a freshwater holding tank, if you do it once a year, that's more than enough. It really is. It's... and I know some people that would never drink the water out of their holding tanks, but I did. I didn't think about it. And I thought I something about a filter. I saw it when I scroll in the comments. We'll get to that in a minute. I had a water filter on my system. I had a 2-stage. It was a particulate and carbon, and I never really worried about it. And actually, towards the end of my career in my 40-foot Class A, I actually added a soft water softener as well. George, aka Dad, that's one thing we miss while on the road: fresh, clean well water right from the tap. Wondering RN says, no one told me I couldn't. I use a filter. OMG, now I'm scared. No, you're good. I wouldn't worry about it. Kevin Coop says they showed the standard bottle you buy anywhere. Well, Kevin, I would love to see that video. Now, you're not going to be able to post it because I have filtering enabled on all my channel, so you can't post the URL. But if you want to email me the link to that, I would love to go check it out. I just don't believe that 3% hydrogen peroxide added to a gallon of water, 1 milliliter no less, 1 milliliter of 3% hydrogen peroxide in a gallon of water is going to give you, 3/1000ths of a percent hydrogen peroxide. I just don't think that's going to be enough to sanitize. But I'd love to see the video, because hydrogen peroxide is, if you've watched the biogeomethod video, hydrogen peroxide is really what we're generating when we add borax to the tank. We're actually, it is actually hydrogen peroxide that helps to, knock down the stink in the tank and oxygenate the water. So yeah, I would be very interested to see that video. Alrighty, let's see here. Kind of checking up on. Alright, okay. Alright, Tim responding to Wandering RN. I do too, only after sanitizing drinking water, run 2 through filters before hitting my drinking glass. Yeah, and that's pretty much the way I ran mine. And I really, yeah, I think you're fine. I wouldn't think. She says, phew, Tim, thanks. I was in Michigan. The water was hideous, even though 2 filters, it was brown. Yeah, in some places the water's pretty hard, especially in Michigan. In the West, you're going to have a lot of calcium. In Michigan, it's going to be iron, magnesium, but mostly iron. That's what was the big problem up in Flint, when they changed the water source up there. No worries, Kevin. Yeah, I would be very interested in that. I'm kind of a chemistry nerd anyway, so I would be very interested to see that video, and yeah, I would be very interested. Wandering RN, she says, I'm in Alabama now, and the water seems clear and good. Yeah, I think you're probably good, and the water in Alabama should be sort of soft. Here in Arkansas, the water is soft naturally, right? It's a lot softer than it is in Idaho, and it tastes fine. I drink, drinking tap water right now, even though it's a coffee cup. Scotty says, we run double filter prior to the hose fill, but still never drink out of the tank. Recently started using 5-gallon jug with the battery pump. Eric Myers drinks out of his all the time. Yeah, I'm with you, Eric. Wandering RN, she has 2 3-gallon stackable jugs, but where I am in Alabama, there are no refill stations within an hour. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with getting one of the Brita sink filters. Those work perfectly well. Oh, okay, Kevin Coop, he says, I checked it out. They agree 100% with what you said. Must be higher concentration. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Wandering RN, she says, I filled the swear jar when the poop sludge hit me when the cable broke. Yeah. And that's not a bad recommendation, Tim. If you have to drop the underbelly, that might be a good time to upgrade the insulation while you're there. Yeah, sometimes that's a bit of work. It kind of depends on where you think you're going to be going. If you're going to headed to a cold climate, it may be worth it. If you're going to stay out in the warm like Alabama, there may be a small return. Yeah, and that's Scotty. That's a good point. He was mentioning to Wandering RN that his underbelly bolts were a mess, and he had to razor knife them out and then Gorilla tape them back on. So, there is that. They do tend to rust. But yeah, other than that, it shouldn't be too tough to drop the underbelly. I say that, and I'm famous for saying a project on an RV will take an hour and it takes 3. And thank you so much for your super chat, Wandering RN. That is very kind of you. Oh, Tom Downey says he got his electric 110 volt problem. It's a bad GFI. It wouldn't reset. That's usually the way it works, huh? Two Feathers commenting back to Scotty says she doesn't drink her water from her tanks either, but wondered if it would be okay for coffee. I don't, but I wonder. Well, if you're worried about sterilizing, sanitizing your water, obviously you need to boil it. And making coffee, you don't boil the water long enough. And if it's in a coffee maker, it doesn't. I mean, it only boils, for just long enough to be boiled up and bubbled out of the reservoir through the heater, and then to drop into it. That's not going to be long enough to sterilize the water. You need to boil water for, I think it's 3 to 5 minutes to thoroughly sterilize it. Yeah, I honestly sanitize my holding tanks once a year and never even thought about it. But again, I was filtering, right? I had a dual filter, a particulate and a carbon. And then I also had a water softener. And everything that went into my holding tank went through my filters. Everything that went into the RV went through my filters. And, I changed the filter cartridges. When I was full-timing every 6 months. And I just never even worried about it. I'm still here today. Kevin Coop says, when I was young, we drank water out of the cistern made in the ground with rocks. I lived through it. Yeah. I drank mountain stream water, right? I used to, we'd be up hiking or hunting, way up in the mountains. And I would drink that water up in the, way up in the mountains. I wouldn't do that today because of Giardia and some of the other things that are, a little bit more common than they used to be. And I don't remember ever getting ill. That was way before they had all these fancy filters and stuff that you could carry with you. Two says she doesn't have room for 5 gallon, but she uses 1 gallon. Yeah, that's probably enough. Scotty, yeah, never enough room for everything, and we always had a few gallon jugs in the basement. The 5 gallon jug fits perfect where the desk chair used to go. There you go. Scotty's got a 35-foot Montana fifth wheel. Oh yeah, and Gary says on-the-go portable water systems work pretty well. Yeah, which one do you use, Gary? Wandering RN says she's a one-chick show. I have a dog as a helper. Yeah, but if you're staying in an RV park, you'll be surprised how friendly people will be, and they'll help you out. For sure, especially a single gal. And yes, Brita filters do not remove microbes. Okay, yeah, she does too, says she does sanitize, and that's what she thought about coffee boiling time. Eric Meyer says, all the water from where we drink and ate is maybe why my generation is healthier. It could be, it braced our immune systems. You can really, depending upon the size of your rig, you can get a really inexpensive and a very effective reverse osmosis system. Okay? And, for your RV, they're going to be $100, maybe $110 or $20, something like that. Of course, with inflation the way it is and all that, it could be more. But, yeah, yeah, RO, reverse osmosis is a good way to go if you're worried about that. And I believe RO do remove bacteria down to a certain size. I mean, if ROs can remove, calcium, hard water, and minerals from it, that are dissolved, I think they can pop microbes. Denise B. Hello, Denise. Welcome. First time living in a camper full time. 2018 Cruiser Fun Finder. I like it but have so much to learn. Thank you for my videos and tutorials. And Denise, you can come and ask any questions here. This is a very safe zone. There are no dumb questions, only dumb answers from the host. So yeah, we're so happy to have you here. 2 says they drank from the garden hose as a child. I still do. Wandering RN. Put one in my Amazon store so I can buy it. Okay, so let me just, I'll take a quick minute here. I don't usually like to lean too much on, self, promotion. But if you enter Amazon through the link in the video description, you can go anywhere on Amazon and I'll get credit for what you purchase. Okay? So it doesn't necessarily have to be in my Amazon store. My Amazon stores, I have a number of them set up, for convenience. Typically, my Amazon stores are probably around projects. So I have one around the BioGeo method, around how to maintain your holding tank, and all the parts and pieces and things that you need for that. And then there are others in there. But the way the Amazon deal works, if you enter Amazon using the link in the video description, or you could just go to amazon.com/shop/trbolin, and that will take you to my store as well. But you can depart from there and purchase anything you want, and I'll get a very small commission, but you'll pay the same price. So it doesn't necessarily have to be an item that you purchase from my storefronts, but if you enter through the link in the video and go purchase something, then I will get a small commission. But I'm happy to make a recommendation on something Wandering RN, if you would like. I am trying to remember the filter I had. What is your rig? Did you say? I don't know. What kind of RV are you in, Wandering RN? I have CRS. I need to get that shot that stops CRS. I used PureFlow, PUR-FLOW, PureFlow. The reason I like them is because you can get the replacement filters, and they've been in the business for a very long time. Some of these knockoff, and I've been burned on this before, but some of these knockoff, cheap Chinese filters and stuff, they're all good and fine, and you buy a system and then you can't get filters. So but PureFlow is the one I had. I had the 2 cartridge. It mounts in your water bay, and it's pretty easy to hook up. But yeah, PureFlow, PURFLOW. Okay, perfect. Yeah, then you got it made in the shade. Wandering RN, she says, I have a 5th wheel Chaparral, and it does have plumbed holding spot for a filter. You got it made. Yeah, PureFlow, really good quality. Filters are fairly inexpensive and readily available. Tim, I agree with you. Tim says he's found that the charcoal filters are best at removing bad taste and odor. Absolutely. Tom Downey uses PureFlow as well, and that yep, they are good filters. So, and I believe it's PURFLOW. I'll just take a quick gander here on Mr. Amazon. And let's see here. I had this system right here. I didn't have that one. That was $900. Where is it? Oh, you know what? That might be one that we want to get from Rec Pro. Hold on just a minute. I'll just do a real quick search here. Sorry, I'll just do a real quick scan. I don't see it. All right. So yeah, PureFlow. All right, so I'm not gonna sit here. Give me a minute. Well, at the end of the chat, at the end of the stream tonight, if you'll hang with me for just a few minutes, Wandering RN, we will get you set up with a good pure flow filter that will go right in your fifth wheel, and you'll be in a good space. All right, let's see. Pure Flow is what they use. Two feather. Oh, Gary retract. Okay, two feathers. Well, even if you use a white hose for filling, it's then put in storage wet. I'm sure bacteria is growing in it. You don't you think? Yeah, it could be, especially if it's just like that for months. Yeah, totally. And you're right. The but here's the deal with the white hoses, and this is particularly important if you're in the warm climate. White hoses will grow mold. The reason is because the light can penetrate through the hose. And here's the dirty little secret. Mold and mold spores are everywhere. And no matter how much filtering the city does to that water, there's going to be mold in it. Now, our bodies are more than adapted to handle that, and that's why we don't die from drinking tap water. All right. Now, a caveat to that, well water, different story. Okay. But a lot of large metropolitan areas use surface water. And I will guarantee you there's going to be mold in that surface water. And that mold, when it sits in that hose and the light shines on it, is going to turn into mold or algae, that kind of stuff. So I don't recommend that you go with the white hose, because I learned my lesson the hard way. This is the voice of experience. But go with the blue hose, okay? They're a little bit more money, but the light doesn't penetrate them, and I've never had a mold or an algae problem with my blue hose. But yeah, if it sits there, and I saw somebody say, run the water for a minute or two. I always do too. Even if, and when I was full timing, when I would move from space to space, spot to spot, before I'd ever hook up, I would put my hose on. I would run the water through it for a few minutes, mostly just to purge the air out of it. Because one of the things I will recommend is that if you're going to store that hose, that you drain it, right? Just hold it up above your head as you're, let the water drain out of it, and that'll help. Okay, trying to catch up here. Okay, Scotty, he says he bought the Beach Lane external dual filter housing, but will need replacement filters in a few months. Yeah, Tim Myers is responding to 2. That's why you always run a good amount of water through the hose for connecting. Yep. 2 says I do, and I use a filter. Yeah. Wandering RN, I live full-time in mine. Okay, cool. Michael Zant, 0 water is good if pitcher. Yeah. But again, I don't believe 0 water will remove bacteria. I believe that is like the Brita pitchers or like the Brita filters. It removes, malodorous tastes, that kind of stuff. Okay, let's see. 0.5 micron. Scotty says 0.5 and a 5 micron. Yeah, that's a good one. Tim's right. Flush the bugs out of that hose before you hook it up. Yeah. My local Culligan Water is a place I can buy the resin from. For sure. You can also get that online. The resin beads. Wandering RN. Plus, after the last 30 degree day, I hate the white hose. It's impossible to fold up when cold. I ordered a flex hose. It's coming in 1 week. Cool. Yeah. Tim, he says I'm also in the hate my white hose camp. I just bought one of the expanding hoses. Tom Downey, we were talking about surface water. His water comes from the Skagit River. He lives in Whidbey Island. 2 feathers isn't light a disinfectant. Ultraviolet light is, but white light isn't. I think, oh, Don, yeah, not if you photosynthesize. The red light is not keep in mind that light is a spectrum, right? So you've got everything from, far IR to, infrared, white, blue, red. Red light is 650 nanometers is red light. That's what plants use to photosynthesize. They use a little bit outside of that range, but that's close enough. And then, of course, ultraviolet is very well known as a disinfectant. It will disrupt, bacteria and bugs and stuff like that. But the light that's in this comes from the sun has all of those lights in it. It would not be a disinfectant in the case of like a water hose. Everybody's throwing away their white hoses. Yeah, I hate those white hoses. Okay, light is an accelerant. It can be, for sure. Not if you photosynthesize. Wandering RN. She got 250 feet flex hoses. I was over it. The struggle was real. That's hilarious. Oh, that's a good one. I like it. All right, so it's 8:06. I usually try to keep these to an hour, but as long as there's questions coming in and I don't get too silly because I'm pretty tired, we'll keep going here. So if you have a question, go ahead and throw it out there in the chat. Just a quick reminder that on there will be no live chat next Tuesday. I will be on the road, probably depending upon what time we get out of here. I hope to make it up to Lyman, Colorado. Probably spend the night in Lyman, and then run on up to Pocatello. That makes for 2 12-hour days, and that'll be a lot of driving, but it'll be good. I haven't towed a car on a tow dolly since 2013 when I towed my VW Jetta behind my RV on a tow dolly. Which, by the way, was another one of those I'd had it and was over it and got rid of it as soon as I could. Towing and on a tow dolly behind the RV wasn't pleasant. A lot of people do it. I just didn't care for it. I would much rather tow 4 down. But I'm towing a '96 Chevy Cavalier, which is front wheel drive, so it should go really well on a tow dolly, no problem. Thank you, Kevin, for your wishes for a safe journey. 2 asks, flex hose, are they quality made? Yeah, they seem to be. I know a lot of people that use them. Tim says, put that white hose in its place and use it for flushing the black tank. Just be sure to mark it in some way. Yeah, I had 2 different hoses. I had a black hose that I used for flushing, and I had my blue hose that I use for potable. That's how I kept them apart. Thank you, Wandering RN. It's very kind. Scotty, curious, anybody try to use the Harbor Freight 20-foot flagpole for a cell phone booster antenna? No, it'd probably work though, Scotty. What I did was I bought a 10-foot hunk of 1 inch and a 10-foot hunk of 3/4 inch conduit. And I built my antenna mast out of that. In fact, I believe I have a video on that. I do. I believe it's in this one, Scotty. Hang on. I'll pop this over for you. Give me just 1 second. That is a link to a video on how I installed my Weboost 4G-X RV cell phone booster. And what I used was a piece of 1 inch conduit, a piece of 3/4 inch conduit. And what I did was on the 1 inch conduit, I slit the ends 4 ways. And then using a hose clamp, I could clamp it down and it worked perfectly. And then the nice thing was it collapsed down to about 10 feet and 4 or 5 inches. And it's just EMT electrical conduit. But I'm sure the 20-foot flagpole would probably work. I've seen them, but I don't know. I don't know why it wouldn't work. Two is asking about my brother. He's doing fine too. I asked him last night if he was getting excited to move to Idaho, and he said he was. So, I'm having a hard time getting him to purge a few things, but we're getting there. Don says he put red tape on his white hose to mark it as black tank flush. That's a good idea. Any way you can mark it to remind yourself, because you don't want to mix your black tank flush hose with your potable water. Now, although there are backflow valves, right? So on that flusher, there is by code, it's required to have a backflow preventer in it. So you should never get water back from that black tank flush into your water hose. But better safe than sorry, particularly when it comes with that. No, EMT, metal conduit, Scotty. Wandering RN, very clever, thank you. I have 1-inch PVC conduit. I'll see your video for sure. PVC would probably work. The thing with PVC, and it probably would work. And 3/4 and 1-inch PVC, I don't know if they would slide together. I don't know what the OD of 3/4 inch PVC pipe is, but you might be able to get like some Schedule 20 PVC, a little thinner wall, and make PVC work. PVC might well work. I just went with EMT conduit, mostly because I had built a number of antenna masts out of EMT conduit. Yeah, Tom, that's a good point. Wondering RN, she says, don't get Weboost, it stunk. I returned mine. Well, probably what it was is, how far did you have your antennas separated? Here's the thing about cell phone boosters. I guess we'll take a little side trip down the old cell phone booster line ride here. Cell phone boosters are really good, but the one thing that is super important is that the outside antenna is as far away as possible from the inside antenna. Because what will happen is, what do they call it? Bounding? Gosh, I used to know that. In fact, I've got a cell phone booster video on my channel that talks about this. But what happens is that the signal from inside and the signal that's being received outside end up in a feedback loop. Think Jimi Hendrix. And so it's called bounding. I'm almost positive it's called bounding. And so any of the cell phone boosters are built to stop that from happening, and they turn down the inside or outside signal, one or the other, because if they don't stop it from happening, it's going to destroy the unit. Okay? So the key to make a cell phone booster work extremely well is to get those antennas separated as far as possible. And then, some people don't have good luck with Weboost. I just have had a great experience. I mean, Weboost is Wilson's Electronics, and in my past life, and I'm not arguing anybody. It's Fords and Chevys, because there are other really good cell phone boosters out there, and Weboost isn't the only one. It's just the one I have the most experience with. But Wilson Electronics, I had used their equipment to do whole building of cell phone boosters in fringe areas. We had several offices when I was back working in IT that were on fringes, and people couldn't use their cell phones. And so we ended up doing whole office cell phone boosters, and we used Wilson Electronics for all that. And Weboost is just the consumer side of Wilson Electronics. But yeah, it just depends. And the other thing is, you can't boost what's not there. And I think that's the biggest mistake people will make, is that they think that a cell phone booster, and I'm not arguing with you at all. Wandering RN, I'm just saying that that separation of the antennas is super important. I've heard the sure call, Scotty. We'll be looking for feedback on how good that didn't work for you. I'm teasing you on how good that worked for you, Scotty. So when you get it installed and set up, let us know how it works and what you ended up doing for your mast. Good night, Gary. Have a good evening. Robert Black saying a lot of people are using the Harbor Freight flagpoles for Starlink dishes. They all seem to love them. There you go. No worries. Let's see. Very clever. Thank you. 1 inch. Okay. MT it is. Lightning interferes with the metal. Not really. You know, no, not really. You know, if there's lightning in the area, you know, you got a pretty slim chance of getting struck on your antenna. You know, it should have a proper ground on it, though. By the way, Scotty, even you know, if it's EMT, you know, I would just ground it, make sure it's grounded well. But yeah, I mean, if you get hit by lightning, you got bigger problems. You're probably gonna, you know, I oftentimes will recommend that you get some kind of a surge protection, whole coach surge protection. In fact, I have a video on my channel where I installed one in the Class A. They're fairly inexpensive, but that's a good way to protect yourself from lightning, because you're more than likely going to get a surge from a lightning strike through the electric you're hooked to at your RV park. I would say that you're probably far more likely to take a serious surge from lightning in an RV park through the electrical system in the RV park than you would if you get, you know, if your actual antenna got struck by lightning. Wandering Guardian says she mounted it well above the ACs on the roof using trim wood mounted to the ladder. Okay. The booster inside didn't work anywhere in the rig. It was frustrating. Huh, interesting. So what did you replace it with, Wandering RN? Question mark. Scotty says, I ran a test with a stick of fiberglass just above the height of the fifth wheel and went from 119 decibels down to 82 inside. So I'm pretty excited. That's really good. That's very good. Scotty, his speeds were much improved. Don't think those bars on the cell phone matter. Yeah. Here's the first thing. Just ignore bars on the cell phone, because that doesn't tell you anything about what you're going to get signal quality and or what your up or download speeds are going to be. Okay. You need to get an application on your phone like Network Cell Phone Lite or something like that. I actually have that on here. Network Cell. I might have taken it off this phone since oh no, it's here. Network Cell Info Lite. I'll pop this up real quick. And so this is my unboosted signal in Arkansas right now, minus 73 decibels. I'm on band 13. The nearest neighbor is at minus 80 decibels. So that's not bad, you know. It's up in the upper range, and that's good. You know, minus 90 is green. You know, you can see on the scale there. Yeah, that's this is a good application to have on your cell phone if you're gonna you know, have a cell phone booster. Network Cell Phone Info Lite. I do not believe they have it for iPhone unless that's changed recently. Scotty, pretty sure I'm going to use a flagpole with the EEZ RV ladder mounts, but the EMT sounds way cheaper. Yeah, you know, you'll be surprised what a stick of EMT costs nowadays. But yeah, it was fairly inexpensive. Scotty says he installed the Hughes Hardwire Watchdog a couple months ago. Cool. He says his upload speeds were more improved than download. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Tim has the Watchdog portable and loves it. Wandering RN, nothing. LOL. I'm not using my phone for data now. I use Infinite Internet, Verizon. It's a cellular modem, 109 for 285 gigs. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good buy. All right. Wow, we're holding it pretty good. We got 23 still connected. 24. Well, I'll tell you a story then, and then we'll wrap her up, unless there's a question that comes in. Because since we're talking about cell phones, I had been buying my dad's cell phone on a Verizon Friends and Family plan, for a number of years. I've been a Verizon customer for 18 years, I guess, at this point. And because of my position as IT guy, an IT director, I had way back in the early 2000s put an unlimited data plan on my phone. And it cost me $30 a month. It's what is famously called the grandfathered unlimited data plan. It had no throttling, no network congestion management, unlimited data, and there were times when I was RVing full-time, living in my RV full-time, I would run 400 or more gigs a month, because most of my entertainment came offline. Prime, Netflix, a lot of the free streaming services, the Pluto TVs, the Tubies, those, the Zumos and that kind of stuff, I would all watch online, and of course a lot of YouTube, stuff like that. So I called in to change this up. I didn't really call in. I got on and chatted, which I will never use chat again. And 3 different times, they kept offering me this loyalty thing where I could upgrade to 5G and all this and that, and nothing changed, and so on and so forth. And 3 different times on the chat, I told this agent, I do not want to make a change to my account until until I can read the terms and conditions of the plan. I said it 3 times. They changed it anyway to a 5G blah 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 blah, whatever. I don't know. I don't remember what it was. It doesn't matter. So I called in last Friday as soon as I discovered this, and I said, listen, I want this changed back. Well, they had to go to the director level to get it approved, because it's not something they offer anymore. And I called in today to find out what's going on, and I had to leave a message for this. I got to a agent who's going to forward the information to the agent that was working on the ticket, to get my unlimited data plan back, my grandfathered unlimited data. The young lady that I was speaking to tonight, it was kind of funny. She says, well, we'll get it back if we can. I said, you'll get it back. I'll guarantee you're going to get it back. Or I'm going to force them to buy my cell phone for 10 years and pay for free unlimited data for 10 years. Because they can't do that to you. I didn't change the plan, and I've been guarding that zealously, because it was untouchable. It's not replaceable. And so anyway, that's my Verizon story for tonight. I'll catch you up the next time we get together in a couple weeks and let you know how that turned out. All right, we're getting close to the end, 8:23. Thanks, Tim, for the reminder. Okay, one last mention for that thumbs up if you're so inclined. Check me out on the web, trboland.com. Use the links in the video description if you'd like to buy stuff from Amazon and stuff like that. I'll get a small commission. You'll pay the same price. Remember, from all of my affiliate links, from the super chats that I receive, all of my AdSense revenue, the 3/4 of a penny I get every time somebody watches a video, all of that is going to be donated to Loaves and Fishes, the Food Bank of the Ozark, this month in memory of my father. And for those of you that contributed tonight to Vincent, Robert, Wandering RN, I think I got everybody. Thank you so much for your support. And I think we're going to call this one good for tonight. So thanks, everybody. Thanks for being with me as we've worked through this. We'll be back to normal. Well, if you can define normal. Well, I'll be home in 2 weeks, and we'll see you then. Thanks so much for watching. I sure do appreciate it. Till we get together then. Peace. Good night. Oh, okay, so Wandering RN, I was going to look for a filter for you. You folks are welcome to stay, but we'll go dig up a filter. And then I see she had a comment here. She uses Mint Mobile, have 2 phones. One I've had for 3 years and only paid 1 year because I send out my referral link and they give you credits when people sign up. Perfect. Okay, I'm going to let you guys chat a little bit. Good night, Tim, Arlen, Scotty, Robert. Okay, hang with me, Wandering RN. I'm going to run over here real quick and see if I can find that. Here it is. That is the single. Where is the 2-stage? Okay, stick with me there. All right, I thought I got that wonky. It's Flow Pure, not Pure Flow, Flow Pure. And let's see, the 2-stage, they've got the single. Hang with me. Hang on, Sloopy, we're going to get there. Let's see. And you know, because of this pandemic, you would think that we would be over that by now. But people are still using that, you know, like passing that around as an excuse, like a bad cold. Let's see if we can find. Okay, let me do another quick search here. That's Watts is who makes that. Flow Pure. 2 filter. Alrighty. Well, I'm finding the filter cartridges. I'm not finding there as the unit. I believe that's it. No, that is not it. All right, so here is one. Oh, yeah. This, I'm sorry. Okay, let's see. Wandering RN, you still with me? Everybody else, we've got a few people left. Great. This is something that just, excuses me, pisses me off about not YouTube, about eBay sellers. Let me flip over here to my screen. Let me go over here so you can kind of see what I just found. Here's a one that I want. Here's the exact filter I want. It's only $40 with $67 shipping. Are you freaking kidding me? Located in Seattle. But that's the one we want. I just don't seem to be able to find it. I wonder if they've stopped making the two canister one. Oh, here's 1 Watts. There it is. And that one is available at Walmart. So there you go. It looks like they will ship it to you. That's the one you want right there. Flow Pure. And it looks like it's available at Walmart. Of course, I don't have an all Walmart affiliate, but that's just fine. I don't care about that. I would much rather you get a water filter that's going to make you happy. And this is the exact one I had right there. Available on Walmart for $123.45. So I hope that helps you out. Now, this is not an RO, Scotty. Okay, this is not a reverse osmosis. This is, wrong slide. This is just a 2-stage, typically with carbon and or a carbon in particulate. Now, I know a couple folks had mentioned that. Let me go back into this. Because I'm just, what I will do, and I always tend to to fall this way is I'll recommend what I use because I'm familiar with it, I'm happy with it. But I'm trying to remember, there was a couple suggestions. As far as an RO goes, Scotty, yeah, I'm not sure about reverse osmosis. I don't have one. I didn't have one in the RV because I felt like I had enough filtration with the Flow Pure and that stuff. So I don't know that I could make a suggestion on an RO. We will. Okay. One on Amazon from Beach Lane is only 70. Is that the Flow Pure? This exact filter? Well, like it is there on Amazon. See, I could find the single cartridge. It was 52. But I couldn't find the 2 cartridge. Alright, well, we're going to call that one good. And I hope everybody enjoyed tonight. We'll see you next week. And until then, bye. Or 2 weeks. See you in 2 weeks. Peace.